This was an exciting game. Janek took white, Warren took black. I mean, maybe Warren doesn't like this game, but actually it's quite good to review. You will see. Normal beginning, then white invades. Black plays that continuation, and white starts a fight. After black's tiger's mouth, white should Atari. Now it is a Miyai. Either white captures this stone or that stone, white is alive. But in the game, white captured here. Which means that later this move will be Sente, threatening to kill white in a ko. So white gets 4 points instead of 7 points in the corner. That's a big mistake which white made. Black answered. And then white tried to attack black's group. And it would be very good for black to simply answer, and later, one day, it doesn't need to be now, one day black will get it. It will be Sente. It's not really a huge continuation, because even if white dies in ko, it's not such a huge corner. But still, it will be black's Sente. It will be black's privilege. But black thought, okay, I can do it now, and later help the group. And for sure, this would be a good exchange, because now this is for sure an eye. But there are two things. Generally, when should we make a Sente exchange? When we cannot use the Aji in another way, that is often the case. I mean, that is often the good enough reason to make a Sente exchange. Because, well, then we don't lose anything by making it. Is it the case here? Yes, it is. And then, but then there is also another reason when we might be afraid that our opponent plays there instead of us soon. Maybe not now, but soon in a foreseeable future, and we might be not in time. But also when it is Sente. And actually now it was not Sente, and white decided to ignore it. Black thought that now black kills white's group, but then black realized that actually white has enough liberties. Black doesn't have enough liberties to play this fight until the end. Yeah, so black dies here. It's even 2 liberties difference. So this was a very wrong timing. But, well, it would be painful if white gets it instead of us. But the point is that white already played this move. So now white is much less interested in playing here. Because after white plays at B, the move at A will be kind of lost. It will be not needed. Now this exchange only helps black. It gives black a stone on the outside, and white was already alive, and white just makes himself even more alive with the move at A. So we don't need to be afraid that soon white plays that move. And therefore, we can keep calm, and we will get it. That's the mindset. That's how we get to this mindset that we don't need to hurry with playing that exchange. And black hurried and didn't realize that now it is not a Sente exchange. White played here, and now black is dead. So from now on, the game looked very difficult for black, and it seems that it's not interesting to review, therefore. But in fact, it is very interesting to review. The group, if it dies just like this, very big group, and white lives with this and that, yeah, it is a very good result for white. But for sure, for now, there is a lot of Aji. First of all, just looking quickly, black has a way to make a call. If black has big threats, then black can play such a call. And, well, in fact, if black wins this call, then it really looks quite nice for black locally. Let's say white doesn't have any more threats and black captures this. Well, this is a broken shape. That group can be killed in a ko. So, before we do that, of course, we should make this exchange so that it can be even killed without a ko, yeah. Yeah, good idea. However, we don't have enough threats. Maybe this white will answer, but the next one white will not answer anymore. So now white plays here, and this is a very good result for white. for sure. What happens in the bottom left corner, it's not such a problem, especially that this is a two-space Shimari. Ogema or Nick and Toby Shimari, two-space Shimaris. If they are split, it's not such a problem. If it is one space, then it's much more painful that we are split. But anyway, what happens in the top right is for sure much more valuable than what black can potentially get from cutting any corner enclosure, any Shimari. Alright, so this is an option, but it looks not really interesting. So instead black tries this, and it was a good try. Like this, and then cuts through. White needs to run, and actually white is not able to keep all shapes connected. Black now plays the cut, white plays Atari, and you know what you need to do after such a tragic thing happened. For sure black realized that tragic thing has happened in the corner. You are on a losing position. You can feel a bit better now, because now, well, the game is already lost. If you end up losing it, no problem. But you need also to be very careful to look for a moment, because your moment might come. It is very common in Go that your moment comes. A moment when your opponent loses focus a little bit and gives you a chance. So you need to be very concentrated, very focused on the game. Look for your occasion, and this is actually such a moment. We expected that white plays Atari out, and let's say like this, because this is center, and we fight somehow. But white plays Atari first, and well, yeah, automatically we can answer. But do we have to? Actually, it's not about these three stones. The fight is about that group of ours. Maybe we have another possibility. How about playing here? So if white now captures the three stones, which would look like the most natural move, then black can capture white stones there. This is great for black. Now the game is better for black, for sure. It's not so easy, because white doesn't have to capture the three stones. White can play, let's say, like this. And then after black's connection, white actually has a way out like this and that. That's unfortunate, so the great plan doesn't work, even though, well, maybe we can attack this group, but we don't have many liberties ourselves. What else can we do? Maybe we can somehow prepare, maybe attach first and try something like this and then connect. But it's probably not center. Maybe we can attach here. Try something like this. If white plays Atari out, it becomes quite complicated. Atari. Like this and that. Does it work? I don't know if it works. Like this, black is captured, white is captured. So first here, but then maybe black can play like this. Actually, it's not easy for white. So you see, you might have options. You need to read carefully, and maybe you find something. For sure, you cannot play automatically. Just go the path towards disaster. But even after black connected, there were more chances. Black plays here, white destroys some liberties, maybe, I don't know, and goes out. And then black covers white. So actually this already looks quite interesting for black. White now wasn't able to play like this because black would capture white. So instead, white connects, black connects, and the white needs to spend a move to live, right? But it means that black got so much on the outside, in center, and now black can continue some ways of pressuring white, maybe with, I don't know, with this move, let's say. I don't know, doesn't look so amazing. All right, maybe just like this, something like this. Well, probably black is going to die, but anyway, we are at least getting something on the outside. But in the game, white played here, and now let's stop for a moment. What is the status of this fight? If black takes away white's liberties, white doesn't have eyes. How many liberties does white have? 4 plus 1, 5. And I mean 4 liberties we see, and because it's a big I, for the first intersection in the big I, we get 1 additional liberty. So 4 plus 1. If it was 5 liberties, we would have 5 intersections of the big I, we would have 5 plus 1, because there were 4, plus 2. So it would be 8. With 6, it is 6 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, plus 3, so 12. Okay. So what happens here? White has 5 liberties and black has 1, 2, 3, 4. Black has 4 liberties, but it's a co. So it's a 2-step co. It means it's not a direct co. It would be direct if black had 5 with the co, but it's a 2-step co. If black now takes away white's liberties. So, well, not the end of the world. There is some chance. But what should we play? The next move of black was very, very important. Or no, not of black actually. I think of black or of white. So, yeah, yes, of black. Black played this move. So this is not realizing what is happening on the board, unfortunately. This move is the smallest move on the board, which does something. Out of all moves which do something, this is the smallest. Why? Because it saves stones which don't need saving, because these are not cutting stones. They are not cutting stones because these 4 are dead. Because this group, and this group, they are all connected by capturing these 4 stones. Therefore, these 3 mean nothing. They are just a few points. And what does mean something? Well, this group. It can be thin. We should go out with this group. Or first, we should play this exchange. It costs nothing, and it already makes sure that white doesn't have a one move to just live locally and capture our group. And then, well, I don't know, play something like here. This is a good move. Or maybe here. This is a good move. These are big moves. If we want to play on the top, this is a big move. But yeah, I am certainly for playing from this group, the thin group. This is a small move. And then white attacked black's group, unfortunately. So black is not getting something out of this fight. And then black tried to cut white and failed. And then made white alive, not realizing that here it's actually still a co. Instead, black tried, maybe hoping that white plays here and here, but this was naive and white answered in a proper manner, and now white is alive. So the game becomes very, very difficult for black. Very common scenario that after we made a mistake, we follow up with more mistakes which make the game much worse than the initial mistake made it. Be careful about that. So now what black really needs to run, place an attachment, trying something, and white can answer in a simple manner for sure. White can maybe answer like this, and perhaps black will be able to live with the group, but the game is very good for white. White doesn't need to do much. Now simply create a group and be happy. Or probably a better way, play here, and then Hane, and then don't get disconnected, play here and here. Like this we can probably capture black's group. This would be very good for white. But in the game white plays here, and then white was not able to push, maybe because white was afraid that black plays like this, I guess. So instead white connected, but this ended up in a total disaster for white. Black played like this, and in the end black captured white, winning the capturing race by 1 liberty. Now 3 against 3, but white cannot take away black's liberty without losing his own liberty. So this was a first big success of black, after which the game is maybe again playable. So probably white had a way to get a much better result. by playing this Hane, because this is the shared space for liberty, so we should think of playing it in this space. Like this, who wins the capturing race? I think that it might end up in some sort of a ko. Something like this. A ko, a direct ko. Yeah. Unfortunately, white went the way which brought only death. Yeah, and then white decides to invade black's moyo, of course, makes sense. And how do we invade the moyo? When we invade the moyo, we choose this. We don't play the attachment. Attachment is for the beginning of the game, not for moyos, not for invading. We are too thin after the attachment, the opponent has too many ways to answer. We play like this and we create a group. It's fine. But when we play like this, our opponent can choose which way to go, and they will choose just the best direction. And this is what black did. And now the simple joseki. So, okay, it's a famous joseki. I think that some of you might have more than once heard from my mouth the story of 3 ladders in this joseki. So let's say it again, because it's another chapter of the story yeah, on this board. What are the 3 ladders? So there are 3 of them. If black plays here, then there are 2 which matter. Black capturing white with this move, and white capturing black with this move. If white can, white captures here, and the move at 4 is not possible for black. Does it work? Actually, yes, because the ladder will go this way, and then it will rotate like this. Black will be captured. Okay, so white can capture black's 2 stones. It means that the ladder works for white. It means that black cannot play at 4, and we don't care anymore about this ladder. It doesn't matter, even though this ladder... it also didn't work for black, but anyway, doesn't matter. White simply can capture here, so black cannot play at 4. And this is the prerequisite for white to play this joseki. White needs to be sure that black doesn't have this counter. But now black doesn't have. So what will happen? Black will play here, and then the normal joseki goes this way. Here, 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 and then there is another ladder. But this ladder doesn't work for white, so it's a very bad result for white. Even if white tries to play this double hane first, still black will cut because the ladder doesn't work. White cannot get a good result in such case. This is just very bad for white. So does it mean that white cannot play this joseki? Well, yes and no. Generally, if this ladder doesn't work for you, then you shouldn't play this attachment. Because after this attachment, your opponent will choose exactly that joseki, and you don't have a good way of answering. I mean, there are some alternative ways you can play like this, but they are not great. So if you go all this way, yeah, it looks bad. However, it's a bit different thing when there is a stone of black here. So this is the new chapter of the story of 3 ladders. So now the 3rd ladder, the important one, it doesn't work for white, so you think that white cannot choose this joseki, white cannot attach. However, to be fair, white can play atari, and then instead of playing double hane, white can simply extend. Black will for sure push, and white extends. And if black now plays something like this, white's hane is center. If black doesn't answer, then it's very straightforward. Yeah. Or let's say black plays like this, and then white gets this and this. That's terrible for black. So if the block on the second line is center, you should crawl on the second line, right? This is the basic rule, which we all know. If the block on the second line is center, you should crawl. But when you crawl, you get a fully cut keima. And this is a bad shape for black. Now black will probably play like this or like this. And because black gets so not nicely split, it's actually an acceptable result for white. White can play like this. So good for you to know that even though I don't recommend playing this attachment when you invade the opponent's moyo. But if you still did it, then you have that way, given that the stone is at this spot. If it was further, it wouldn't be so painful for black, not as painful. But if it is so close, you can really cut through with that variation. Good to know. But in the game, white saw that, oh no, the ladder doesn't work. And then white decided to find an alternative way. But this was just the worst thing you can do. Like really the worst, because now black captures white's 2 stones in the ladder. And white has absolutely nothing. Just imagine. What is it? This, right? And then yeah, white plays like this and this, basically like this. Okay, there is some agi because of the ladder, but oh, these exchanges are just the worst you can do. Yeah, so very unfortunate that now white played a move which just doesn't give anything. It's better to not play at all, because you know, maybe later it will go some different path and maybe you can use the shape differently. But now white made sure that black simply gets a good result here. And now the game starts looking interesting for black again. It was terrible in the beginning, but now is it terrible still after what happened in the bottom right and top left? So it's a hope. Oh, here, don't play this kick. Play like this, maybe. Play like this. Maybe play like this. But not the kick. The kick is really not a nice shape. Later, black played here. Later, there was this cut. So, maybe better for white to play this way. But then, well, oh, maybe just Hane. You see, the shape is very bad for white. So don't play this kick ever. In this shape you really get into trouble. So now white got into this trouble. Black cut through. And again it starts looking good for black, but luckily for white, the ladder stopped working. Well, luckily, white for sure prepared for that. Yeah. So I think that actually, given that there is this agi of a ladder, black should probably play something around here to make sure, or I don't know, maybe let's say here, to make sure that there will be no ladder breakers coming suddenly out of nowhere in the middle of the fight. This way it would be much easier for black to play, even though I don't know if black is ahead, maybe black is still behind, but this left too annoying of an agi. By the way, why do you play these moves? They only strengthen the opponent. You don't need these. You can simply start with this. It's good enough. Yeah, in the game it went this way. And then white gets a hope anew after running out with the ladder. And finally, here white finds a way to trick black. Yeah, so this was the final fight. Black can capture white if black only connects. Makes sure that he has as many liberties as possible. The number of white's liberties will not change and there is no connection because of this. But in the game, unfortunately, black played a move which allowed a throw-in, and then suddenly white made an eye in center. Yeah, so the game became easy for white. After black plays this, white can simply capture black's 8 stones. It's enough for white. White is very, very ahead, even if those stones on the top die. Instead, white was trying a fight. Alright, it was also fine because it worked for white. There was a co, but black had many threats. In the end, black wins the comp, but white captures the corner. And by the way, one thing which black must have done now, for sure, you should play this because it's center. It's 20 points in center. It's incredible. Like very rarely in Go do you get a 20-point center move. Here it is. Black was not in time to play it. That's crazy. How can you miss a 20-point center move? So because of that, white kept a big advantage, and in the end, black resigned. No, actually, I think, is it the case? Yeah, I think black played until the end and then resigned, probably. Anyway, so this is it about this game. It was actually quite a fascinating game. After you lose a lot in the beginning, don't you know this thrill of playing a lost game? It's very exciting to play like this. Your opponent is the one who needs to be stressed all the time, and you can try all your tricks, and you can feel so free playing them. So yeah, just don't get discouraged and enjoy the lost games. I really enjoy playing lost games. And for white, well, white made two terrible mistakes in two corners consecutively, right after getting this good result. So you see, like, the game of Go is never easy. You need to always be careful. Here a mistake, here another, such a huge mistake, and suddenly the game is not easy anymore. When you are ahead and your opponent is still playing, then you should know that they are going to try their best. So don't joke with them. Respect these tries, these attempts of the opponent. Yeah, they are not stupid. They are looking for chances. So you shouldn't just get relaxed. Yeah. So this is it about this game, and we will move to the next one.